Okay, so this video is going to be kind of long. So this took me 2 solid days of really sitting down and going through shit, trying to figure this crap out, because I'm tired about these half-ass answers of what is actually happening here with this whole 666 thing. So it's all occult stuff. Literally, it has nothing to do with Christianity. So we'll start with the verse. No revelation. This is dealing with the mark. No one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. That is the name of the beast or the number of the name. This calls for wisdom. Let he who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and the number is 666. Okay, so let's start by taking this apart. It says, no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. Right? That is. Right? It doesn't say that it's a mark. It says that is the name of the beast or the number. It doesn't say a physical mark. Okay, so this isn't a physical thing like they keep trying to sell you. Right? No one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. That is, which is the definition of the mark, is the name of the beast or the number of the name. Right? So if we look over here, we go up here, we look up mark, and the meaning of it, interestingly enough, you get this word right here, just like in the movies, because that's where all this is going. Okay? Shining, illuminated, Illuminati, The Shining, the movie, Danny. In the movie The Shining, they didn't show it, but in the book, the father, Jack, interesting name, Saturn, sodomized Danny. The sodomy is what sends their mind into the hell realms where they can see things that we can't see. That's why he was able to see all that shit in the hotel. So it says no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. That is the name of the beast. Well, what is the beast? Well, I've studied so much. The name of the beast is Mot. M-O-T. And that's not motor, the thing you get in England for your car. It's Mot. It's Semitic. I think it's Sumerian, but he was a Semitic god of dead and all the powers that oppose life and fertility. Wow, sounds like a COVID shot. He was the favorite son of El, who was what? Saturn. So we're there. So it isn't behemoth, it's behemoth. The Hebrew word for the beast is behemah, and its plural form is behemoth. Like his name is Mot. Next, or the number of the name. Well, what is the number? Well, it's the number would be the amount, right? So in order to get that, it says this calls for wisdom. So everybody thinks it's 666. That's not what it is. Not in that forum. It's not. So what we have to do is we have to go over here and we have to look. Okay, it says this calls for wisdom. Well, the word wisdom is tied in with this, the word for knowledge, which is interesting because that is dat. Dat is Hebrew for the hidden knowledge, which is Chokmah and Binah. And if you don't know what them two characters are, basically, put plainly, one's a dick and one's a vagina. The Hebrew word for that knowledge from dat is yada, like the phrase yada, yada, yada. Yes, it's in reference to sex. So we already know that this mark already has the shining, and it has yada, hidden knowledge, transference through a sexual act. Okay, this isn't a mark on your skin like people think. All right, so it says, this calls for wisdom. Let he who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, right? For it is the number of a man. All right, so we're going to get to that. The number is 666. People just go, oh, it's 666. That's not it. You have to come down here because if you take these numbers, 600 in Hebrew is Mem, Shek, Semek is 60, and Vav is 6. Okay? Now, if you look these up, you'll find out those are the fallen angels in the book of Enoch. All right? Exactly the way I just showed you right there. Okay, so we're looking here. It says the name of the beast. In Hebrew, the name, Shem, is name or renowned. The name Shem refers to the name in its plural is Shemot, right? Over here it's Behemoth. So what do you have? You have a male and a female combined. Now you're getting into some transgender shit. In Genesis it said God created them both male and female. That's a man and a woman in one body, not separated. Adam and Eve came like 2 chapters later. So if we look here, when you look this up, right, Strong's Hebrew, the word marker, dealing with to sell, which is interesting. If we look up here, the number 6, which is death of all men, 6 in Hebrew is Vav. It's also Shish. It means image, man, beast. So if we look here, 6, we see the word man, and we also see the word beast. All right? And knowledge, which falls under wisdom. Okay, and the number of man. The number of man is 6. It's these guys, right? But what they show you is this right here, which is really telling, which gives it away. For the first time I saw this, I started laughing. So let's just rotate that 180 degrees. And then let's just fix this. And we'll rotate that 180 degrees. And what do you get? You get the word sex. All right? The word sex in Hebrew comes from the word shemen or shemen, meaning oil, ointment, fat, cream, fertility. If you go over here to the context Song of Songs from the book of the Bible, coincides our interesting songs of songs in the erotic poem. There's a phonetic similarity between shemen and semen, and the meaning ointment that could refer to semen. That's interesting stuff. Okay, now if we're going to go back to knowledge over here, or wisdom, wisdom also falls underneath the description of one who is able to separate between what is good and what is bad. Hence the story in the Garden of Eden. They ate the apple and they knew the difference between good and evil. These guys wrote this so that they didn't write it where it made it easy for people to understand. Okay? If we go up here in the Zohar, the level of dat is referred to as the key that includes 6. Okay? If you go and you look, the key of David is sodomy. Okay, so you've got sex here, you've got knowledge here, you've got semen over here, you've got sex over here, you've got the shining, which the way you get the shining is you have to be sodomized. Okay? The 666 has absolutely everything to do with demonic understanding through the act of sodomy. Biblically, it's called the oh God, what do they call it? The mystery of the iniquity. And it's where there's a bond between the perpetrator and the victim. And that drives them into mother, which is the devil. It's a woman. See, this is what people don't get. Satan and the devil are the same character, but they're separate. The devil is the female side, which is your 333. Satan is the other side, which literally falls under the 666 if you want to get into numbers. They're separate, yet they're the same. So there's your transgender in the occult. It's a male-female. They're the same, yet they're separate. That's why the devil wears Prada, and hell hath no fury like that of a woman. And that's why you have scantily dressed women on bombers in the front because it's about sex and murder. Okay, and I'm pretty sure part of this occultic knowledge that's passed on to these children is about death and destruction. As a matter of fact, I'm almost sure of it. But it's the death of the soul. And these, the fallen angels, well, who are they? If you look it up, it says that the name is Shemot, but it's also Anakim. Well, where have we seen that before? Well, we saw that in Star Wars with Anakin. The name means Yedi or Yidu, which is interesting because there are no J's in the Bible, so it would be Yedi, but literally it would be Jedi. And if you look here, it says the Nephilim, which are the fallen angels, which are the offspring of the fallen angels, are linked with the latter Anakim and Remphan. Okay, so now you have the Shilonite, the Visions, Jedi, the Seer. Well, how do you see? Well, this is just like that. Remember that movie, Men Who Stare at Goats? In the occult, a goat is a penis. So they were trying to do remote viewing through sodomy. Anakim is Anakin in Star Wars. Remphan is in Amos 5:26, where he said, you made a star unto yourself. That's the six-pointed star, right? And they use the word Chiun. Chiun is Saturn. So we're talking about the offspring of the fallen angels, which is the Nephilim. Okay? And that's what this is. The 666 is the fallen angels. It's their offspring. So we know that the mark that's illuminating is caused from sex. It's dealing with a female and male power, which that gets installed, which is your transgender movement right now. Okay? Dat is on the tree of life. It's in the center. It's the hole where things are missing. It's also like the abyss type stuff, but it's the hidden knowledge of the sexual act, but they're not doing it in the correct way. They're doing it in the incorrect way, right? They're doing it in, that is referred to as the key. The key is the key of David, which is sodomy. All right? So 666 is not just 6, it's 660 and 6. The numbers that are associated with that gematria value. So basically what you have going on right now, and I'm sure of this, the COVID shot is tied in with the fallen angels. Somehow they're injecting people with, it's almost like they're doing it through, instead of actually running around and fucking everybody from behind, they're doing it chemically and tying their mind into a system, which is what Mother is. Hold on, let me just get you a picture of this wonderful gal. There she is here. You notice the cube? That's her in the middle. The reason you see this is because the line down the middle is a mirror. Because the two halves of the minds are not separate anymore. They're one mind. Okay, that's it. For lack of a better word, Satan and the devil is a transgender. And you see that in these two beings. It's a man and a woman combined. You see it? And if you notice, you will see, hang on, this finger represents a dick, and that's how you plug in to the system. Okay, so hang on, I'm just going to give you another example. So this is on Dumbass Jones's page, but if you understand what you're looking at, the lady in red is the one from the Matrix. The lady in red, the one that was going to shoot Neo in the face, remember? When he was talking to Morpheus. See the finger? See the COVID-19? Hang on. Still got more. Isn't it interesting that on both of these pictures, and he does this all the time, it says knowledge equals responsibility. But he who has wisdom. Wisdom and knowledge, they go together. And what are they showing you? They're showing you a syringe. Well, that's interesting because the knowledge, as we see over here, this is a sexual knowledge. I'm telling you that what they're doing is they're chemically sodomizing people, not by going up their ass. That's not what I mean. I mean what it's doing to their brain. It's locking them into that system. into that system with mother. That's what it's doing. Now hold still, I'll show you another one that'll back this up. So if we look here, there's Jones's finger, and you see here, here's the Pfizer shot. You see the hand here, see the finger, see it pointing there. If you look here, this right here, I'll just take this and flip this, rotate this 180 degrees. This is the international symbol for pedophilia. But if you look here, there's your Saturnian X and your black and white. It's black and white. Why? Because the black and white represents an eclipse. It represents an eclipse, and the eclipse is dealing with the moon, which is dealing with a death cult. That's what those dudes are into. And so this shot is a death shot. There's the finger, which is a V. It also represents a V, which is death to all men. VAV, V-A-V. When you buy a can of Monster, that thing on the front is called a nail, or a, okay? There's 3 of them, 666, which is dealing with the offspring of the Nephilim, or offspring of the fallen angels, which are the Nephilim. These are the guys that are behind this. These freaks, and all of these guys are transgenders, by the way. They're 2 in 1. Okay? The whole thing behind that, and the human side of it, is when you sodomize a child, you fuse the right and the left half, the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain. One side is male, one side is female. When you do that, the 2 become 1. And just like the towers, which was a ritual of sodomy, because that's their covenant, when the towers came down, the North Tower, the South Tower, right? The first temple in the Bible, the second temple got destroyed. They're supposed to build a third one, right? Male side of the brain, female side of the brain. What happened with the towers when they came down? They put up a single tower, which is symbolic of the third eye. So if you look here, when you flip it around, you get the pedophilia, because the pedophile thing is a way of, when they do it, they're locking the child's mind into that perverted, reality, which is the minds of the fallen. And the people that are getting this shot, they're not doing good, because I think a lot of them are dying from fear. You see these people having heart attacks. If you read in Revelation, it says men's hearts will fail them. Notice what he says, knowledge equals responsibility. Knowledge over here is dealing with the sexual responsibility. The difference, to know the difference between good and evil. Hang on. The ending of The Wizard of Oz. What is she doing? There's 4 men standing there, 5. And she's pointing at him saying, and you were there. Why? Because they all sodomized the little girl and sent her to Oz. And I don't know if you get a load of this, but it's kind of characteristic. The mark is not a physical mark on your skin. That is the deterrent that they have given to you to make you think they're going to put something under your skin, right? They're not. The mark that they're talking about here is the mark of the shining, which the only way you can get that is it has to be on a spiritual level, that mark of ownership. And that shot is, I'm almost sure of it, because you can tell from the hand positioning, the words knowledge and this and that, what Jones is using, what the key words mean, the numbers. This is tying people into a demonic realm. The sodomy thing is just an old-fashioned way of doing it. It's like they've given people a shot that is doing it chemically, and it's doing something to their heads. that's almost like rewiring their brains. This, I just call it cyber sodomy, but I think it's doing the same thing. The 666 is dealing with demonic knowledge, like in The Shining. Here, let's just hang on one second. So in the movie The Shining, see he's holding up that finger? That is the symbol. Here's 42 right here. He holds up that symbol, the finger, which is the penis. It's also the Vav, the 6. And what is he doing? He's looking into a mirror. Why is it a mirror? Because it's the mirror always represents into the mind, right? And so what do we have going on here?
I don't know. You do too know. Now come on, tell me. Don't want to. Please. No. No, Tony, tell me. No, Tony, tell me.
So what is the point of all of that? Well, hang on, I'll bring it. The purpose is because these guys have an agreement with Hell, which is spelled with one L, it's not spelled with two. Hell is mother, H-E-L. They have an agreement with Hell to deliver souls because she has no power on her own, she has to steal it. And so they have to do that, but you have to agree. If you look here in Isaiah, and your covenant with death shall be disannulled. In other words, the contract will be broken, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, you will be trodden upon. So basically, Isaiah is telling these guys that are involved in this shit, that are involved with the fallen, right? Because you ever see those signs that said, remember the fallen? They're not talking about soldiers, they're talking about the fallen angels. The blue angels, in fact. And the blue angels are not an aviation organization. The blue angels are, these fuckers are stuck. They fucked up a long time ago and they can't go home. Okay? So they have an agreement with Mother to deliver souls into hell. Let me just show you some, just kind of to back that up. See this over here? See this over here? There's Mother Dearest. See this? This is a nativity scene at the Vatican when the COVID thing started. You see this? This is electricity. Okay, does this in any way, shape, or form remind you of anything to do with Christmas? Of course it doesn't. Because you see these things? This is a transformer. That's what it's showing you. I work around electricity, I know. These are cooling fins. You notice the woman's head? That's hell. Okay? This is a donkey because it represents an ass. Okay? You see the woman over here? A woman is a negative. A male is a positive when you get into electrical. That's why the woman, if you look at a schematic, an electrical schematic, in England, here we call it ground. There they call it earth. That's why it's Mother Earth. It's a negative. It's a ground. So the power is being fed into her because they have, this was in 2020, they have an agreement with hell because they need to give her souls. And the COVID shot was helping that right along. Oh, and there's going to be a lot more souls are going to be heading there. This is a big orchestrated funneling of souls right into fucking hell. It's like an assembly line, kind of. Do you get it? It's not good. It's not good. And so, hang on, bring up something else here. I love when I do dumb shit like this. Here's a picture of Mother, here's her little leather boys. right? There's the finger. And this is supposed to be some, what, roast ox? I don't know where this is coming from. I do know that this picture is in reference to ox. Ox is the aleph. Aleph is the letter X that you keep seeing. That X, which is what a crucifix is, represents the planet Saturn, which represents her, right? It's all one code after another code after another code. See? See? Same face, same configuration. They just think that they're clever, but they're really not. Real hand-cooked roast ox. That's interesting. So this is Shelley Duvall, the one that was in The Shining. And if you go watch the documentary of what the guy that made that, Kubrick, tortured the shit out of this broad. I mean, for days. But anyway, so here she is here. So let's take a look at the hand. There you go. See the finger? That's called a hook. It's the same as the peg. It represents a 6, which is death. Here she is. There's the palm. The palm represents Sukkot, which was in representation of Saturn. Here she is over here holding an apple, which is indicative of the Garden of Eden story with the kids. And then here she is over here in the movie Popeye, but if you notice the fingers, it's on either side. The same thing with the guy's head, the same thing with the picture of Mother. Okay, there is a concerted effort on this planet to feed souls to Mother, which is hell. It's what it is. The fallen angels are the ones that sided with the devil, just like in the biblical story. I'm just giving it to you in a different format. Okay? Just giving it to you in a different format. They have a contract, the guys that you call, you know, the ones that call themselves Jews, they have a contract to deliver to the fallen, who then deliver to Mother. And for that, they get protection, literally from Mother. In other words, you've seen where, like, a guy will own a restaurant, and the mafia will come in and say, you're going to have to purchase some protection from us. But what they're saying is you have to purchase protection from us. In other words, if you don't give us what we want, we're going to get it from you. And this is a common fact when you really get into the occult. They have never paid, you know, the people with the J word, because I don't want to get anybody kicked off of YouTube. It begins with a J and ends with an U. Those guys have never paid their own debt. In other words, they keep using us as currency, literally, so that Mother doesn't come and collect it off of them. And that's what their agreement with her is. Do you understand? This is how this place works. That's why Isaiah said, hey, this agreement you got with her, it ain't going to stand forever. So what you're seeing going on here, I can make this video 20 hours long easily. What you're seeing going on here right now, in Genesis, before Adam and Eve, it said, they translated as God created male and female, meaning the two of them were combined into one body, not separated from Adam and then Eve. The phrase "go fuck yourself" comes from that combination, the joining of the male and the female in one body. That's where the phrase "go fuck yourself" comes from. Okay? They have an agreement to deliver souls. The COVID shot is a way of getting people there to, I don't know, fill the order, I guess. And it ain't been filled yet. Believe me, it's going to get a lot worse. A lot worse, because she only has, it says that the devil, Mother, has a short time to basically get what she needs, and then that's over. So the JUs are going to do everything they can to fill that order. And people say, well, where's the Father? Well, he's coming on his way back here. Now I'm going to show you a write-up from a guy from 2013, which I just ran across this morning, but it pretty much backs up what I'm telling you. He doesn't go as far as I do with the old mother thing. However, he does mention something that I brought up a long time ago about distorting what humanity is really supposed to be compared to what it is. So hang on. So he wrote this. I don't know who it is, but it's just a little blurb. My personal opinion as of writing this on 6/24/13. This may indicate that the individual identified here is the Nephilim, which I agree with. A hybrid between the fallen angels or engineered transhuman, which is transgender, and natural man, as clarified in the text in 1st Enoch, which is correct. Same thing I found. It may also represent a system which is being adopted in law, right? You have to accept pedophilia and you have to accept transgender. That's where it's going. To minimize and reduce human reproduction. What did I tell you? If we went back and we looked at Mott, who was Mott? Mott was death. He had to do with non-fertilization, while modifying the outcome as part of a transhuman agenda currently underway. Now, this is before the transgender, but the guy is right, and I agree, and I found the same thing. Transhumanism is part of the transgender. So transhumanism, people equate that to being tied into the mind of mother, and I agree. Tying you into an AI type system because that's what she is, currently underway. There may be a link between the two where the fallen angels, Nephilim, and the humans, you know, the JUs who follow them are working together for this outcome to destroy what the Elohim, I never liked that word, we'll just say the Creator, recognizes as mankind. He created from the face of the earth in such a way upon the Father's return there would be none found who are righteous in all their generations. A generation is DNA, much like in Noah's time. So basically, not only are they murdering and massacring and killing, they're destroying the DNA sequence because what the COVID shot is, it's an mRNA gene therapy, meaning it goes in and it slices through the RNA and inserts a code. Once that code is inserted, you're no longer the person you were prior to that. It doesn't mean you start acting different. It means biologically you are no longer that person. In 2013, Barack Obama went to the Supreme Court and had them basically pass a law that say if you take a living substance, or any substance actually, and you change its DNA molecular structure, it's now referred to as a new creation, and you can patent it. So everybody that got that dumbass shot, technically, and they ain't come out and said it, but you're kind of owned by Microsoft because they have the rights to you now, because they own that mRNA sequence that they fired into you. This is not a virus. It's an mRNA. So when you think of Moderna, think of mode RNA. Okay, because they just fucked with it and changed it. So now legally, I mean, if they wanted to get nitty gritty, and they will at some point, they'll say, well, your DNA sequence is no longer the name that you have associated with it. So therefore, you can't prove that's you. Very nefarious bullshit going on here. So basically, what you have is the fallen angels working with our good friends, the real men in black, you know, the ones that run around acting like they're all that, and saying, oh, we were chosen. I'm not so sure they were chosen like, oh, you guys are good people. I think they were chosen as maybe they were abducted. And I don't mean aliens. I mean, maybe they're just a product of this whole system too. But they're working for the system now. And so they're running around getting a bunch of other chosen ones against their will, mainly children. But the COVID thing is killing off bodies and linking them into a demonic system. That's why Danny in The Shining could see that shit. Because he had The Shining, because Jack fucked him up the ass. So, if you understand what this, I mean, I could have made this video 20 hours long. I've done thousands of videos on this stuff. But some of this is going on YouTube with Trample on Snakes, so I kind of have to keep it short. This guy wrote in 2013 almost exactly what I found without ever reading his stuff, just by going through and looking through occultic stuff and understanding the words, terms, and terminologies, and what the number is. It's not a mark like on your skin. It's a spiritual mark by way of perversion, an entrance into your body, which is the needle or penis, I guess, in some cases. Watch Alex Jones, man. You'll see him. Watch him when he's on there. Go watch Alex. Watch his finger. He'll keep putting his finger out there because it's a curse. It means death to humans. And the number is 6. The number of the man, right, is 6. The number of those men, right, because man is plural for men, is 666, which is the fallen, or aka the Nephilim, the offspring. It's almost like the beginning of the Garden of Eden story again. So I'm going to end this thing right here, right now, because I don't know how long Trample on Snakes videos run. I think he might have longer than 10 minutes, but I'm going to end it right now. I'll do another one. You guys can get on my page if you want to. I mean, a lot of you probably don't even know I even have a page on Trample on Snakes, but you're welcome to come over.